You've been through good times, you've been through bad times. And, we went from 2006 to 2012, which was not a whole heck of a lot of fun. And then the market just screamed ahead until 2021, and then somebody just put the parking brake on, and it just stopped moving the way it was. And one of the things that you've been talking about, and you seem to be a very thoughtful person when it comes to real estate, what's going to happen, what's working, what's not working, all of those kind of things. And so one of your concerns is us recovering too quickly. And what problems, first of all, what in your opinion does recovering too quickly mean? And number two, what problems would it cause?
Well, we saw this happen several years back.
Right.
Interest rates got so low, what happened to housing prices?
Crazy.
Went through the roof. Now the housing prices are so high, people are greedy. They don't want to reduce their prices, and we're starting to see that happen.
Yep.
Now, if they reduce the rates too much, it's an affordability issue.
So if interest rates went down into the fours or maybe even the high threes too quickly, you're saying that the market would flip back over to being an absolutely outsized, oversized seller's market where the sellers can rule the roost. And for a couple of years in Metro Atlanta, and I know you know this, we were up 35% in prices over a 3-year period.
Cleve, we were seeing $100,000 above list offers.
Absolutely.
And here's the odd thing about that. You fast forward to when the rates went up, the people who paid, and I did it on several cases, the people who paid $100,000 more were in better shape after the market went up and rates went up. That blew my mind.
Wow. So people who paid $100,000 over were still in good shape.
We're better off 2 years down the road. It was just a nutty situation. They got the house they wanted. Their monthly payments, if they would have waited, it was an interesting concept.
We do probably need some relief when it comes to interest rates, but for it to go down too fast would be really detrimental to the market. And so the best we can hope for is for a slow decrease.
Well, right now, individuals, it's not really the rate, it's not the pricing. It's the affordability of the two.
So they can buy a house, but they don't want to live in the house they can afford to buy. They want to live in one that's better.
That's what I was trying to get across, and I was fumbling my words.
No. But that makes really good sense. So they're like, you know what? I could buy a house today, but I'm not going to buy a $400,000 house because what strikes my fancy or tickles my fancy is a $650,000 house.
It used to be $400,000.
That, by the way, if interest rates were lower, the payment on the $650,000 house would be very similar to a $400,000 house payment at higher rates. But in some cases, going ahead and buying now actually makes sense.
It does if appreciation continues.
That's true. And I think that Atlanta is in a pretty good shape for appreciation to continue. I know that's not happening everywhere.
I think we may see a temporary pullback if interest rates stay where they're at.
Okay.
And you can do this. You can go look in just about any neighborhood in my area of town.
Yeah. Which is Northwest.
Yeah, Northwest.
Ackworth, Woodstock, Canton.
Roughly 50% of the prices are 50% of the homes in the neighborhood have been reduced.
Have dropped price.
So we started seeing that happen over the past several months because eventually people are going to cut the cord. It's time to move.